Hey, how's it going, you guys? It's petplatypus here, and now to continue Avatar month, I'm going to be reviewing Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Promise Part 1. I've read this, I haven't read any of the other comics, but I've read this about, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I still remember most everything, but I can't give you guys like a full, in-depth summary of everything that happened, plot point for plot point, but still I can talk about it. The basic premise is the war with the Fire Nation is over, and what they're trying to do is remove the Fire Nation colonies from the Earth Kingdom that, took up occupation there. We already kind of saw a little bit of this in Season 3 when Aang was in school. They were like, oh, you're a transfer from the Fire Nation colonies. That was our first little hint as to what these were. And the basic dilemma is, on one hand, they are Fire Nation. They should go back to the Fire Nation because that's where they should be. They should leave the Earth Kingdom and everything should be split into the four again. That's Aang's perspective, and I got some problems with that, but Zuko's perspective is, hey, these people have been here for a long time. It was a 100-year war. Some of these people were here for an extremely long time, for decades. This is their heritage. This is their home. And it's a good dilemma. It's a good... it's just one of those things that really shines with this entire series, is that nothing is black and white. Nothing is just, this is right, this is wrong. There's always just this great balance of a gray area where you don't really know what the right answer and what the right choice is, and I really love that. And, that's Zuko's side, of course. He wants the Fire Nation colonies to kind of stay there because he learned about them. And, like I said, Aang wants the Fire Nation colonies to, be gone, and like I said, that's a little problematic, but I'll get into that in a second. So that's the setup. As far as the characters go, Aang and Katara are a couple, and they're very funny together, calling each other sweetie. The humor is very much what you'd come to expect from the series. It's funny. Toph with Sokka, there's like, how I see fireworks, and she just screams in his ear. It's very much the humor you would expect from the show, and it's written by the show's creators, so that makes sense. The stuff going on with Zuko and how he's got a lot of pressure. They've been attempted assassinations on him as he's been Fire Lord for a year because there is a year time jump. It's very interesting. He kind of wants to get advice from his dad. They're saying he might go down the path of his dad. He's like, Aang, if I ever act like him, kill me. And I'm like, yeah, because he's such a well-developed character and he's so well-rounded, and he was just, his entire story arc was so well done that to have him backpedal like that, or to go down a darker path, or become a shitty Fire Lord, that would just feel like it would undermine all the development he went through. It's cool to take the character in interesting directions, but when he went through that huge story arc, it feels cheap to kind of just not remove it, but have him go back again. But not the same way, just a different kind of going down a dark path. But yeah, so that was kind of problematic, but it wasn't too bad. So yeah, Zuko's character, it's okay. I kind of like what they're doing with it. I hope he doesn't end up going full-on down a dark path. I don't want to see Aang and Zuko fight. That's just not what I want to see. I don't want to see that reach that point. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the characters. Now, the problems I have with this thing. The art, while it is really good and it is depicts the action fairly well, there are some shots where I was kind of like, wait, was that a dodge or was that a shot that landed? That was kind of iffy. And the overall, color scheme and everything is great. It's really good art. It is good. It depicts everything fairly well, but, there were some scenes of the action where I was like, was that a hit? Was that, so yeah, there's that. But really my only complaint, everything else about the art was actually pretty damn good. Good art style, slightly, different from the show, like a simplistic version of the show's art style, but it was good. Other things, Toph has like a metal bending academy. I think that's cool. Like I said, Aang and Katara as a couple are very cute together, very funny. Sokka's just kind of there. He didn't do too much. The problematic aspects with the plot, though, kind of a nitpick, but we had some of the freedom fighters, protesting the colonies. These two freedom fighters were the ones that said, hey, Jet, we should go straight. We should forget all this. We're refugees now. And they were very like, hey, if you don't get these colonies out of here, we're going to do something. It's like, really? Like, you guys were the ones who were all like, hey, leave this alone, Jet, this guy's not Fire Nation, blah, blah, blah. But now you're, like, back to your old freedom fighter attitude. So that was kind of weird, but I guess Jet did die, and even though that was the Dai Li and Long Fang and everything, it was kind of you know, they wouldn't even have happened at all if the Fire Nation had never, you know, just robbed them of their lives in the first place. So I guess I can kind of see, but it still was a little weird. It's a nitpick, though. It's not a big deal. The bigger deals are Aang entering the Avatar state so quickly against Zuko, just ready to just, like, maybe I should. Like, I felt that escalated too fast, but it wasn't, like, horrible or anything. It just, I felt like him getting into the Avatar state that quickly to fight Zuko and kill him or whatever, do the promise, a little too fast. Then we had... What was the other thing? Oh yeah, and Aang wanting the four nations to be separate. He says the four nations being separate is balanced, and that's the way it should be. Aang's been taught like twice that the four nations are an illusion. It was part of unlocking his chakras, I believe. The guru told him the separation of the four nations is all an illusion, everything is connected, everything is one. He learned that from the guru. He unlocked a chakra by doing that, or by learning that. And the swamp, with everything being connected and all one big living organism. So it's kind of weird that Aang would be so gung-ho on all the nations need to be separate for it to be balanced and equal. That threw me off a lot. That was really weird. And like I said, the stuff with Zuko and, you know, backtracking or whatever. But other than that, I thought it was actually a very good starting chapter to this comic book series. I thought it was a good follow-up. I thought it raised very good themes and very good, I don't want to say questions, but just kind of moral dilemmas, maybe, for like a lack of a better term. It raised a very interesting situation that's kind of tricky and kind of, you don't know who's right and who's wrong, something that the series has always been very good with. You know, there's assholes on both sides and stuff like that. Not in this case, but you know what I mean when it comes to the series as a whole. Like I said, art's great. The overall story progression, not a ton, but I mean, a whole year went by. The characters all went through a little bit of something. There's a little bit of character development here and there with, like, relationships. So, I mean, I don't know, it's good. It's a little rough around the edges, as you can probably tell from my review and things I pointed out, but it was still entertaining, and I'm definitely wanting to read parts 2 and part 3, and it's just so cool to have more Avatar The Last Airbender to enjoy. So, I'd probably give this first chapter of The Promise around a 7 out of 10 to like a 6.8 to a 7. It was enjoyable, it was good, but those problematic aspects make it really rough around the edges, and it's hard for me to say, yes, this is the greatness of Avatar The Last Airbender. This is good, and I hope that it gets better, and I hope that some more things get explained. But, anyways, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys think of Avatar The Last Airbender The Promise Part 1 in the comments below. Do not spoil anything that happens in the following comics. I have not read them. But yes, tell me what you think of the Part 1 of The Promise. And follow me on Instagram, rate this video if you like what you saw, and subscribe if you like what you saw, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.